Hey y'all, how are my fellow nerds today? Today is Monday. It's been raining here for the past few days. It's really gross. Like, the weather just is nasty and muddy and gross. I feel like a snail murderer because every time I step outside to go outside, I somehow always accidentally step on a snail and I feel so bad. Like, they're just trying to get to the grass. Anyways, I just realized, I don't know why I say what day it is, because that doesn't mean you're listening to it on that day. Like, I could be releasing it Monday, and you're listening to it on Thursday, but it's kind of a habit, so I'll just keep doing it. I tried making an intro. I really did. I really tried. I didn't like it. I think I'm going to stick to being that rebel podcast with no intro. I mean, I'm by myself anyway, so there was really no point on having, a cool intro, but here we go. You're listening to the Nerd in Texas podcast, the show that brings you useless information that could one day help you win trivia night. I am literally a nerd in Texas, and I talk about TV shows, movies, and video games with a sprinkle of comedy. I am your hostess, Chanel Fortney. If you are a returning listener, thank you so much. You have no idea how much I love and appreciate you. If you are new to my podcast, welcome. Take a seat. If I could give you a comfy seat to sit in, thank you for checking out my podcast. It means so much to me and my tiny podcast that, like I said, I'll give you a comfy seat and a big hug. What kind of comfy seat, Lily?
A beanbag chair.
Lily is with me right now because normally I record my podcasts in the morning.
While I'm at school.
While she's at school. And anything and everything could go wrong today. And I just didn't get around to doing it until now at 8 o'clock at night. When I'm normally doing this at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to have to get used to it anyways because they're going to be home from school. Because the school is about to be out.
It's about to be summer and I'm graduating on Wednesday.
She's graduating 5th grade on Wednesday. Yay!
And if you're new, I'm her daughter.
Yes, this is Lily. She is my daughter. She's 11 years old.
I have an older sister.
And yes, she has an older sister that's 13. But if you could follow, subscribe, or review to my podcast on whatever platform you are listening to, that would be greatly appreciated. This podcast is brought to you by Alamo Drafthouse, the best film, food, and drink all in one place. It literally is my favorite place to go see a movie. It is my happy place to see a movie. And like I say, they have the best fried pickles. I am a fried pickle freak. And they have the best fried pickles. Their ranch is good. They even make a homemade ranch. Oh, it's so good. They recently invited me to go see The Quiet Place Part 2. And as soon as I get to see it, I will be doing a podcast about it with no spoilers. So, their link for tickets and memorabilia is on my website and on my links page. Yes, Lily?
Alamo Drafthouse is the place where you press the button and they, deliver your food to you, right?
It's the place where we sit down and eat, and we have that piece of paper, and we write it down, and then we stick it in the thing, and it's like a little flag, and they come and get it.
Oh, that place.
Yeah,
I really miss the movie theaters.
Okay, well, I really want to see the movie Cruella, so maybe we can go see the Cruella. I can't say Cue to see The Quiet Place Part 2, because it's actually a scary movie. So
I didn't get to see the other movie last time.
Okay, well,
I don't remember which one.
we will figure out a kids movie to see at Alamo, and we'll go, okay?
And can we make a podcast about it?
Sure.
Okay. Hi, nerds.
Alright, so now I'm going to get into my topic for the day. And that is Locke and Key on Netflix, with no spoilers. I have a few shout-outs and something cool arriving for me tomorrow, so stick around to the end to hear about all of that. So now for Locke and Key, like I said, no spoilers because I want to encourage you to watch it yourself. It's a really good show on Netflix. When I do the no spoilers thing, it's because I want you to watch it, and it's genuinely good. So, as usual, according to IMDb, after their father is murdered after mysterious circumstances, the 3 Locke siblings and their mother move into their ancestral home, Keyhouse, which they discover is full of magical keys that may be connected to their father's death. As the Locke children explore the different keys and their unique powers, a mysterious demon awakens and will stop at nothing to steal them. From Carlton, Cuse to Meredith, Averill, Locke and Key is a coming-of-age mystery about love, loss, and unshakable bonds that define family. And that was written by Netflix. It got 7.4 stars out of 10 on IMDb. What is a 0.4 star? I have no idea. It's not even a half of a star. It's a 0.4. But who does that? But I have no clue. And on Rotten Tomatoes, it got 66 on a tomato meter and 68 for the audience meter. What is a tomato meter? Who does that? Like, when you talk to me about a tomato meter, I'm thinking like, are we rating spaghetti? Because I love me some spaghetti and meatballs. Like, I will rate some spaghetti and meatballs. Anyways, those stats always suck, and I don't ever listen to them. But there are people who judge movies off of it, so I let y'all know. I'm not going to go into detail about the cast members and who plays who and all of that fun stuff because I would go on forever. So what I'm really going to talk about is what the show is based off of it, so it kind of gives you an idea of how the show is. Locke and Key is based off of works by Joe Hill, who is also known as Joseph King, and Gabriel Rodriguez. Locke and Key is a graphic novel, and this show is the third pilot based on the comic book series. Locke and Key in the third attempt at an adaptation. The first pilot was shot in 2010 by Fox, but was not picked up by them and screened at the following year's San Diego Comic-Con. The second failed attempt was a movie adaptation by Universal Studios. I was kind of skeptical about doing a podcast about the show because watching the trailer and looking at it, you think it's something that's aimed at kids, and it kind of is because the cast is mainly kids. But it's also good for adults. You got to keep in mind when you have kids like me, watch it first and see if you think it's okay for your kids. Like my 13-year-old, yes, I would let her watch it. My 11-year-old who loves mermaids and unicorns, no, she will have nightmares. Like I said, it's based off the graphic novels. They got their inspirations from horror novelists such as Stephen King. And I would hope so because Joe Hill is Stephen King's son and writes with the Joe Hill pen name because I'm sure the King name would be crazy to live up to, and I'm sure he wants to make a name for himself. Also, he's got graphic novels and comic books, like, compared to the novels that his father wrote. With all that being said, the movie has kids in it, but has a haunted horror movie vibe to it. It has moments that creeped me out, especially some of the key scenes. Like, so they find these keys throughout the house, and these keys unlock special powers in a person. So they don't unlock doors, but they enter the key into the back of your neck, like in the back of their neck. And some of those scenes, I was like, because it's creepy, but it's good. Like, it's like a good creepy. It's like a creepy good. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Some of the abilities are really cool, and I don't want to give away, but the main point of the story is one major key that everyone is after. I'm not going to tell you what it does, but there is a plot twist. There is a plot twist at the end that you're just like, what? What? And I kind of have a joke about it, but I really want to say the joke, but I can't say the joke because then I'd be giving it away. Or I could say it and you could watch it and you could be like, that's what she was talking about. But at the same time, I don't want to give it away, so I'm not going to do it. But if you watch it, message me, and then I'll tell you the joke about it. I also have a question for you. Sorry, I didn't mean to get loud there. I also have a question for you. So, if you had the ability to, like if you found two keys, and you can only use one key unlocks the ability to time travel, or another key that if you touch an object, it shows you kind of the history of that object. Like you have like, I don't know, flashbacks or whatever. It kind of like, you see the history of that object. Or you could see the future of that object. Ooh, I just thought of that. Oh, that was good. Yeah, that I would totally. So what would you choose? What would you unlock? And when I watch movies or when I watch these kinds of movies or anything like that, I always have my go-to person who I message and I'm like, dude, what if like you could do this? Or what if you found a key, then you gave you special powers to do this? What, you know what I mean? I come up with like so many questions and so many like, it's crazy. I mean, this is kind of one of the reasons why I started a podcast, was so I could let it out and talk about it. But at the same time, I kind of don't get feedback. I'm sitting here talking to myself about it. So that's how my brain works. I overthink things. I overanalyze things. All that fun stuff. So, and I keep saying so a lot. I'm sorry. If you don't have anything to do and you feel like you've watched everything, like if you're on Netflix and you're like, dang, I have watched everything, what am I going to watch? Check out Locke and Key. It's really good. I enjoyed it. I feel like they did a good job from the comics, but of course the comics are always better. So back in December of 2020, Netflix confirmed that Locke and Key Season 2 would definitely arrive sometime in 2021. And then Locke and Key fans, they kind of like, I don't know if they like rallied or whatever, because there was so many like mixed newscast like things that I found where it was like, nope, it's canceled, no, it's whatever. And I think what happened was like a fake article came out that it got canceled, and fans were like, what? But then, like they said, they're releasing Season 2. They're thinking maybe like into fall and winter of 2021 that they'll be releasing Season 2. But they were also picked up for a Season 3. So, there's going to be 3 seasons. Watch Season 1. You'll be caught up by Season 2. It's not fall or winter yet, but you'll have time. Hey nerds, you know I love helping you out. So I'm giving you a little tidbit on if you were wanting to start a podcast. I highly suggest you start it with Anchor. It's the easiest way to make a podcast, and let me explain. 1, it's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. I don't really have any updates on my podcast, but I have been like massively blowing up on Twitter. Thanks to Ocho Duro Perle Hour, who okay, so this is what happened. This is what was crazy. I posted on my Twitter that I'm like 10 or 20 followers away from 200. And I was excited about that, okay? What? And he posted something about it, and then the whole weekend turned into this battle of like how many followers they could get me. And I had so many people talking about how they listened to my podcast and it was amazing and this and that, and this all happened this weekend. And luckily it was raining this weekend and we did absolutely nothing but stayed in my house and played Fortnite. And I started playing Call of Duty Warzone. I suck, but I love playing it, okay? Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. Squirrel, totally massive squirrel. But and it's Monday. I posted that Friday, okay? I now have 585 followers on Twitter. How does that happen? I don't know. But I have a ton of thank yous and a ton of shout outs coming. Another thing that I'm getting from my listeners who are messaging me, I talked about eating breakfast one time on one of my podcasts. I did it one time, okay? And I had a listener donate money on my Ko-fi page so he could technically buy me breakfast. So I used that money to buy me breakfast. I did a podcast right after eating and I talked about it. I was just like, oh, best breakfast ever. Thank you guys so much. And so some of y'all are wondering why I haven't talked about my breakfast, because I really didn't mean it for it to be like something I'd always talk about. I just kind of like joked around about it that one time. But I'm giving you the update on my breakfast. This morning, it's super lame, it's super boring, and I'm sorry, but I decided to take the leap and join Weight Watchers. And it's not that I'm like ashamed and then I want to talk about it, but like I'm kind of embarrassed to talk about it, so I didn't really want to say, like I really didn't want to talk about it on my podcast. So if you want to message me and I can give you updates on how I'm doing on that, that's cool. Mainly I'm doing this because I'm kind of tired of being overweight. And so my breakfast this morning was oatmeal. It's not as fun. It's not as fun as bean and cheese and potato tacos, because those are my jam. Those are so good. And they gotta be the ones from Taco Cabana. And you have to get their salsa. So because I'm not eating that anymore, y'all should eat it and then tell me about it. I can have my breakfast through y'all. I'm actually not a breakfast person, which is weird because I'm talking a lot about breakfast. But anyways, so that's the update on my breakfast for some of y'all. I also made like adulting decisions and adulting purchases. Like I bought things that adults normally buy. Sort of. I couldn't... Okay, so I can't say decisions because I couldn't make the decision. I wanted something really cool for a wall in my room because there's this one wall where I put my bed and it's just blank and empty. I couldn't decide, so I talked to a friend. He wants to be anonymous, hip-hop anonymous. Hip-hop? Okay, sorry. I'll leave that joke alone. And I told him, I was like, dude, I am being too picky. I want this for my wall, but I don't know which one. Like, I kind of want this one, but I kind of want that one. But do I get something that's like earthy? Do I get something that's rustic? Because I live out in Texas. I live out in the country. Everything is kind of like farm and whatever. Like, I have a huge picture of a bull in my living room, but this is my bedroom I'm talking about here. I wanted something Star Wars, but I'm also single, so if I ever bring a guy home, I don't want it to look like an 8-year-old little boy's room. So I was like, dude, I can't decide. So I sent him the options, and not only did he choose for me, but he bought it for me. But there's a catch. I don't know which one he chose. It'll be a surprise. And I got word that it'll be delivered tomorrow by 10 o'clock. And so when I open it, I'm going to be just as surprised as you guys are, because I'm going to have no idea which one he chose for me. And he bought it. Like, I'm telling you guys, I feel weird when people buy me things, even if it's from Fortnite skins to like things for my room. I have people ask me for Amazon wish lists because I don't know. It's just weird. Oh, and speaking of my Amazon wish list, I kind of created one a long time ago for my Nerd in Texas podcast. That way I can kind of keep track of like the things that I want to buy for my podcast. I finally saved up enough money to get a desk. I will no longer be using a fold-up table. Yeah, you're listening to that right. I am using a fold-up table that my daughters decided to draw all over, that there's like just stuff all over, and I bought me a new desk. Like, I'm literally going to have what looks like a legit podcast studio. And another thing, I am podcasting in my closet. Like, this is my closet, okay? Anyways, so I'm going to be getting a new desk. That's going to be here Wednesday. I also got a new chair. I got a gaming chair because yeah, I like sit at a desk and I do this stuff, but I also like I move my chair over. I'm in my bedroom closet in my bedroom. I just kind of shift my chair over and I sit there and I play Fortnite or Call of Duty or whatever I'll be playing. And so I got myself a gaming chair so I can just shift the game chair over there and all that fun stuff, and I can play. So thank you, Mr. Anonymous. Like I said, thank you, Mr. Anonymous. I'll be posting what you chose for me on social media when I receive it. Totally did a squirrel there. For my next shout out, I'm going to say thank you to Kevin for being my OG #1 fan of mine since day one. He has listened to me. He has supported me. He's a subscriber on my Ko-fi page. And since day one. When I got, day one, okay? He had a hard time at work the other day, so I hope this puts a smile on his face if he gets to listen to it. I want to say thank you to the So Wizard podcast. Go check them out on Twitter. It's So Wizard Podcast. They recommended me to be in a group on Twitter, and ever since then, my podcast has just evolved. I've met some amazing podcasters on Twitter, and it's just completely blowing me away with all the love and the support that I've been receiving. And it's just at a time, it was kind of overwhelming. I didn't know what to do, because they kind of do all these cool things on Twitter, and I couldn't keep up, and then I don't know. I think I'm doing a good job, maybe. Oh, they can tell me, but... So, thank you for joining me on this episode of the Nerd in Texas podcast. I'm sure you guys are, sick of listening to me just rant and have squirrel moments where I'm talking about something and then talking about some, I don't know. So, make sure you visit my website, nerdintexas.com, where you can subscribe to the show. Find me on all my platforms such as iTunes, Spotify, or Google Podcasts, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, I would appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about my show, that would help me out as well. If you enjoyed my podcast and would like to help support my podcast, you can go to my Ko-fi page, leave a tip in my virtual tip jar, and any tip you leave, it doesn't matter if it's $1, you get exclusive content and an invite to my Discord server. So until then, peace out, nerds.